Let's call this meeting to order. Mr. Griffin, would you lead us in the flag salute?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sunshine Law statement. All requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act have been met for this meeting of the Board of Education of the Borough of Oradell. Notice of this meeting was filed with a record in Town News and all persons requesting such notice. Mr. Darian, would you read the mission statement?
The Oradell Public School District is dedicated to the ongoing pursuit of educational excellence through comprehensive, innovative curriculum and instruction. The district is committed to providing opportunities for social, emotional, and academic discovery to foster curiosity, courage, and character. Our goal is to prepare our students to become lifelong learners who are self-directed, resilient, productive, responsible citizens.
Thank you. Roll call.
Mrs. Needham?
Here.
Mr. Griffin?
Here.
Mrs. Levy?
Here.
Mrs. Norian?
Here.
Mrs. Shapiro?
Here.
Mrs. Walker? Mr. Walsh?
Here.
Mr. Darian?
Here.
Mrs. Nichols?
Here. We'll open to the public for agenda items only at this time. If you are joining us on Zoom, please raise your digital hand. Okay, moving forward, I guess we want to take a moment to recognize which Mr. Darian's going to do under administrative items, but we just want to recognize this week is Administrative Professionals Week. We have a resolution in our agenda, and next week is Teacher Appreciation Week. And one other item is we are pleased to announce that we have hired a new principal to take Ms. Bozius's place at Oradell Public School, and she is our very own Miss Michelle Hawley. So we are very happy to have you. Do you want to say anything?
Good evening. 4 years ago, just about at this time, I decided that it was time to start looking for some type of supervisory admin job. And I came to OPS and loved being interviewed and felt like I clicked and took the job thinking this would be a great experience for me because I knew that someday, somewhere, I wanted to be a principal. And the years have gone on and I have been with the most amazing admin team with Ms. Bozius and Mr. Hagopian. And we have worked really hard to support our learners and our teachers and our community. So when Ms. Bozius told us that she was going to become our new superintendent, it dawned on me that my someday, somewhere was at OPS. That it wasn't time for me to leave our community. It was time for me to step forward and continue to lead our community. I couldn't be more proud to accept this position. I couldn't be more scared to fill Megan Bozius's shoes. I won't do everything the same way Ms. Bozius did, but I'm so glad that we will continue to be able to work on the path that we have worked on for the past 4 years and look forward to many years of working together to come so that we can do everything. I'm very proud to be the next proud Panther principal. Thank you. Thank you.
Want to take a picture?
Should we take a picture? Catherine, you want a picture?
Yeah.
Try to take a picture of you. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry.
Not only do we make you speak, the worst part is we make you take a picture. Be careful.
Really, I'm smiling. I could take the mask off. You're getting artsy? Like they're.
Yeah, eyes on OPS. You're gonna go in it. Okay, we'll turn it over to Mrs. Longo for the superintendent's report.
None at this time. Thank you.
Going to Mr. Marmara, business administrator's report.
All right, thank you. So tonight I'm going to be presenting on the 2021, 2022 final school budget.
You put the screen? I hit the screen.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yep, that one. Go. Okay, so since we received county approval and there hasn't been any significant changes to the tentative budget that we previously had approved, this presentation is going to serve more as a recap highlighting the most important aspects of next year's budget. So once again, here is the agenda for tonight's presentation, highlighting key points to get a better understanding of the budget. Going through the process, the estimated revenues, expenditures, then we'll go over our resolution that we're going to be voting on tonight, the tax impact, and the next steps after that. So as I mentioned before, with the budget process, it's a balancing act, trying to get our estimated revenues and estimated expenditures to be in line with each other. As the budget process goes on further, we are able to confirm some numbers, such as our tax levy and our state aid numbers. And as you can see from this slide, the tax levy represents approximately 91% of the operating budget, while the state aid that we receive operates 5%. So 96% of the budget's coming from those two sources alone. So we use our goals, our district goals and our board goals as a guidance to balancing the budget. And then we end up with our tentative budget, and then we send it to the county and go on to our final budget, which we're approving tonight. So this budget's been designed to allow for a safe and efficient reopening of the school for September of 2021. As I mentioned, it aligns the board and district goals. It's going to provide for staffing levels that maintain the district's current class sizes, continue the district's technology plan to ensure its effectiveness as it relates to both the staff and the student achievement. And also it'll allow for additional security projects that we have planned. So looking at our revenues, just starting at the top, as I mentioned, the tax levy makes up the majority of the budget. That's at around $12.3 million. And right below that, that's the budgeted fund balance, which is leftover funds that we had from our 1920 school year. So between the tax levy, the budgeted fund balance, and the state aid, that makes up the majority of the budget there. And as you work your way down, you'll see miscellaneous revenues, which could be from facility usages and interest. And then there's 100,000 that we're going to be withdrawing from our emergency reserve account to pay for some security upgrades. So in total, our operating budget is approximately $13.6 million. And as we look at the revenues, so you'll see the largest pieces of the pie here are between our instruction and the benefits. So instruction makes up approximately 60% of the budget, and the benefits is 17, so around 77% of the budget is spent in that area. And as you can see from the bottom, as it's noted, all these pieces are inclusive of salaries. And as we get a little bit further and look at the expenditures in a different light, you'll see the two biggest pieces here now. So salaries making up 60% and the benefits making up 17%. So roughly 3/4 of the budget is salaries and benefits of the staff. And benefits include not only the health benefits, but also FICA that we're required to pay on the employee's behalf, uniform allowances, tuition reimbursements, in addition to the healthcare costs. Another larger piece is the instructional materials and services. So that's your supplies and outside services, software licenses, and then out of district tuitions at around 7.5%. So here's our final budget resolution, resolution D6 that we're going to be voting on tonight. So you'll see it's the 13.6 million special revenue fund. So that's all of our federal grant money and other donations that we receive. And then our debt service fund at around 485,000, which brings the total budget to $14.4 million. And now to pay attention to the bottom here, so this is where the tax levy comes into play. So of the general fund, like we mentioned before, 12.3 million is funded from the tax levy plus the 485,000 in debt service. So the total tax levy is $12,819,035. So now with that number in mind, I figure we'd spend a couple minutes on this slide here to see and hopefully give you a little bit of a crash course to get the tax impact and how that's calculated. So from the top, as you can see, it's our two figures of the debt service fund and also from the general account, the general fund. Now we have no more bank cap, so those are the only two numbers we're working with, and that's how it ties into the $12.8 million. You take that figure and you'll divide it into the total assessed values of all the properties in Oradell, which is the $1.7 billion number, to get your tax levy rate. Now the tax levy rate is used to go against whatever your home's assessed value is. For instance, in Oradell, the average home has been assessed at $567,313. So to take that figure and multiply it by the 0.00748, that would give you an approximate $87 increase in the annual taxes for school tax. To compare apples to apples, so to say, if you were to look at 500,000 in 2021 versus 500,000 in 21-22, the two columns on the bottom, that would be about $37 annual increase. The reason for such the large disparity there is there was actual appreciation in the home values in Oradell. So as you can see, the average home was assessed approximately $6,000 more than the prior year. So home values haven't increased. So the next steps right now, we're going to adopt the budget tonight. We're going to pass the budget. And then within 48 hours, we have to post the user-friendly budget onto our website for the public to review and then certify the tax levy with the borough. Does anyone have any questions?
Mrs. Levy?
Yes.
Thank you for all of this information. It's always appreciated. I know it's tough on everybody. Just the expenditure from the emergency reserve, how much do we have left in that reserve after we take that out? Is that something?
So we approximately it would be around 100,000 left in that reserve account.
And is there like a minimum that we have to have in that account, or is that?
No, so all the reserve accounts, there's no minimum, but actually with the emergency reserve, there is a maximum. So that we, for us, for a district of our size, it's $250,000 is the maximum we can put in there.
And also, I think the plan is to replenish it after this year's budget. We're going to try to put more in or no?
Mhm.
So after this year, we'll be putting some back.
Thank you.
Mrs. Norian?
I just wondered, as a point on how it's listed on our actual agenda under D6. We have listed the general fund and the debt service fund, but did not do the total tax levy. But the total tax levy is included in the PowerPoint. Would it not be also beneficial to have it in that, or am I?
I don't
Yeah.
think we
Going
ever
too
do.
far.
Do we ever show it that way?
It could go either way. I don't know if we do, I could put it in.
It just kind of stuck out to me that it's in one, it's not in the other. This is our minutes of record,
Mhm.
that, yes, everybody can add them together and come up with that figure, but since we did do the total budget, including all of the different funds, it seems to me that it might be beneficial to also include the total tax levy.
I think the
with it
total
too.
tax levy is the second one, the 12,333 and the 485. That's the
Yeah,
total
it
tax
is,
levy.
but it's a total of that, so
And
that
that also.
that another line underneath there would be total tax levy 12,819,035,
Okay, you want
which
to
is
add that?
what's in the PowerPoint.
Mhm.
I just a
Yeah.
question.
Yep, I could, it does, I could put it in if we want. It's,
I don't know if we're.
because this
supposed to or
isn't
not
getting
supposed to.
certified by the county. It's actually a different document that gets
Yeah.
certified by the county.
Okay. It just kind of hit me tonight, that's all.
Mhm.
Any other questions?
Yeah.
Mr. Darian?
Mr. Millar, our debt service, I think this was the construction back in 2005. Do you know when we're scheduled to pay that off?
It's within the next 3 to 5 years.
Is
We
it?
are getting close to retiring the debt.
Okay, I figured if it was 2005 and it was a 20-year, it would end in 3 years. So
Mhm.
I was just hoping that that's the case.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Griffin?
So I do have a question about the withdrawal of the emergency funds in and of themselves. Is there a written application on why we're applying? And is there also, what other requirements do we have for using those funds?
For the withdrawal from emergency reserve?
Yeah.
So that's one of the most restrictive of the reserve accounts. So there's only a select few allowable uses for it, one of them being security. So we figured since we had close to the max in that account, that would be the best use of the funds, is to use it to upgrade some security features for the school.
And as far as like when the withdrawal happens for this, it happens afterwards, or so this gets approved and then the withdrawal, I think there's some steps.
Yeah, so don't think of it as like separate bank accounts or separate buckets, so to say. So all of the reserve accounts, it's all within the general account that we have. And it's just through our accounting records that we'll just manually transfer the money into a special account, security account for that.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
So it's just essentially moving a line.
Mhm.
Any other questions?
I have a question. So just sort of a qualifying question on the security related improvements. I don't recall, did we actually see that in a report, buildings and grounds report from a previous meeting? No.
It's something we just.
Generally, we don't talk about the specifics on the security, but it just involves equipment, electronic equipment that we're upgrading and enhancing. So we're doing two things. We're replacing existing, upgrading, and we're adding new.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Marmara. Anything else to your report?
Nope, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Turn it on. Yep.
Go back. Okay. Good. Okay, we'll move to minutes review of April 14th. Any questions or comments, please email Mr. Marmara. We have the approval of the March 24th minutes. Do I have a motion?
I move that we approve the meeting minutes of March 24th, 2021.
Second by Mrs. Norian. Any questions? Call the question.
Mrs. Needham,
Yes.
Mr. Griffin,
Yes.
Mrs. Levy,
Yes.
Mrs. Nguyen,
Yes.
Mrs. Shapiro,
Yes.
Mr. Walsh,
Yes,
Mr. Darian,
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols.
Yes, administrative items. Mr. Darian, would you take that?
Yes, I make a motion to introduce items A1 through A3, A1 being the school calendar revised. A2 is declaring Teacher Appreciation Week for May 3rd through the 7th. And A3 is proclamation declaring Administrative Professionals Week for April 19th through the 25th.
I second the motions.
Any questions or comments? Mrs. Levy?
Can we just clarify exactly what we're changing or approving on the calendar? Is it the half days in June?
No, I believe we are giving back the snow days, the Friday and the Tuesday of Memorial Day weekend. Is that correct, Ms. Bozios? Yes.
Okay, I thought we did that. Okay, never mind. Thank you.
Now, the last time we modified the calendar was the beginning of the year for professional development, correct?
I don't remember.
Okay, my mistake. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Call the question.
Mrs. Needham,
Yes.
Mr. Griffin,
Yes.
Mrs. Levy,
Yes.
Mrs. Nguyen,
Yes.
Mrs. Shapiro,
Yes.
Mrs. Walker, Mr. Walsh,
Yes,
Mr. Darian,
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols.
Yes, buildings and grounds, Mr. Darian?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion and introduce item B1 for facility use.
I'll second the motion.
Any questions? Call the question.
Mrs. Needham,
Yes.
Mr. Griffin,
Yes.
Mrs. Levy,
Yes.
Mrs. Nguyen,
Yes.
Mrs. Shapiro,
Yes.
Mr. Walsh,
Yes,
Mr. Darian,
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols.
Yes, curriculum, Mrs. Norian?
Yes, you should have gotten the minutes from our March 15th meeting in your packet. And also, I believe you got an email from Ms. Bozios that included the report that the administrators presented to us. I hope you found it useful. And if you have any questions, please refer them to the committee. We'd be glad to look at them. Other than that, I have no other report.
Thank you. Finance, technology, Mrs. Shapiro?
I have no report. I'd like to make a motion to approve items D1 through D9.
I second it.
Any questions? Call the question.
Mrs. Needham,
Yes.
Mr. Griffin,
Yes.
Mrs. Levy,
Yes.
Mrs. Nguyen,
Yes.
Ms. Shapiro,
Yes.
Mr. Walsh,
Yes,
Mr. Darian,
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols.
Yes, delegate report, Mr. Walsh?
I have no report at this time.
Personnel, Mrs. Walker is not here. Mrs. Norian, you want to take that?
Just, there also is a personnel report that's included in your packet. As a result, I'd like to present item F1 and F2, particularly F2, congratulating Ms. Hawley on becoming our new OPS principal,
I'll second both. of them.
Panther
Panther principal.
Get ready to wear that hot hat, head.
We haven't,
Mr. Hagopian.
We already had conversations about it being sanitized before
Ah.
Oh, okay.
Any questions? Call the question?
Mrs. Needham,
Yes.
Mr. Griffin,
Yes.
Mrs. Levy,
Yes.
Mrs. Nguyen,
Yes.
Mrs. Shapiro,
Yes.
Mr. Walsh,
Yes.
Mr. Darian,
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols.
Yes, policy, Mrs. Levy.
No report.
We'll skip public relations task force, Mr. Griffin.
The next COVID task force is on May 5th at 11 a.m. We'll have a report for our next meeting.
Open to the public at this time. If you are joining us through Zoom, please raise your digital hand. I see. Can you allow Ms. Shao to speak? Ms. Shao, unmute yourself.
I'll get it right one of these times. It's either the microphone or the mute button for me. If I'm there, it's the microphone. If not, it's the mute button. First of all, yay, Mrs. Hawley, congratulations. I'm excited for you. But I raised my hand also to let the board know that we have become state champions. So another banner's coming up, and we're headed. So we're in the process of recording right now for World Finals. Our submission is due on Friday, and we won't hear anything until May 29th. We have spontaneous to do in between, but we are a plug-in, and we are really hoping for a trophy this year so we can continue to make you proud. We just wanted to thank you for your support. You guys have always been awesome. So thank you so much, and send up a flare to anybody who might help us.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Can we unmute Mrs. Castro?
I just wanted to say congratulations to Mrs. Hawley. Everyone at the PTA is very excited to work with her.
Thank you.
Thank you. And
We're putting you back in, Ms. Castro.
that's
Okay.
okay. I just wanted to say congratulations to Odyssey as well. Great job.
Oh, Mr. Hawley wants to speak. Let's hear it. Whoa.
He's at the lacrosse game, you may not hear that.
So you have to unmute yourself, Mr. Hawley.
And now can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. I just wanted to extend my congratulations to Mrs. Hawley, who I've known for a really, really long time. And I've had the absolute privilege of watching her work towards this position to this point in time for more than 2 decades. From the commitment that she showed in her very first classroom to moving on, looking for new opportunities, looking for new ways to grow and expand and push herself and push all the teachers around her. And then watching what she's done over the last several weeks as she has gotten so 100% committed into making this a reality. Parker and I are extraordinarily proud of her, and we're really excited, although we're probably going to see a lot less of her for a little while as she burns in on this new job, but we are super proud of her.
Thank you so much. It's one of the nicest things we've ever heard. It makes us feel much better that we chose Miss Hawley. Yeah. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Anyone else? Okay, any old or new board business? Something to Shapiro?
It's an old and new. It's a comment. Is that, now's a good time?
Good.
You know, I like to get a little sentimental at these meetings. And so here it is. It came to me during the B&G, when we were looking at the B&G accepting approving all of the building use. And it's just beautiful to see the PTA reimagining so many events. They used to take over our agenda, not take over, but it's so nice to see that that is back. There's, you know, everything is blooming this year despite this COVID year. And it's so nice to see that the students will have all of these opportunities with PTA events once again. The second thing I was thinking was, you know, I've been a parent in the community and for many years and over a decade, and then a board member for 5 years. And one of the things that we sat around for a while, seeing sometimes we would have people in positions of leadership, and then they would move on for, you know, maybe the bigger bucks in a bigger district, or maybe something closer to home. And sometimes it felt like we were a stepping stone for people in their career. And, you know, that's not the case today. And I am so excited for the OPS community that we have, in the last 9 years, promoted not one, but 2 very strong, very talented women into leadership positions. And I just wanted to say congratulations. And I just feel like we're in very good hands. So thank you.
Mrs. Levy?
Thank you. I just wanted to extend my congratulations to Miss Hawley. When I first came to the meeting tonight, I had no idea, so that way I apologize for not saying it sooner. I too, Mr. Shapiro, I like the idea too that you pointed out that we have promoted 2 very strong female candidates too. You're a good role model to all of our students, but especially to our daughters. So thank you so much. And thank you to the team. I know today was also the first day, right, that everybody came back, and the fact that you've had a full day of both cohorts, and it's 8:07 tonight, and you're still here and smiling, and we appreciate it and know that all of your hard work has not gone unnoticed to everybody. Also, look forward to seeing all of the teachers who are on staff as they pick up their lunch next Tuesday from the PTA for Teacher Appreciation. I'm sorry that we can't have our bigger luncheon, but know that you're still appreciated, and everybody on Zoom, at home, I mean, should look for a little something special in the mail from the PTA. And I also too wanted to say that I think that they've done a great job along with everybody, really reimagining everything for the year. It's amazing how much that they have really tried to help with making sure our kids are kept busy and everything and not missing out on everything. So thank you very much.
Any other old or new business? Any need to go into a closed session?
I'll move to adjourn.
All right.
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Walsh. Everybody have a good week.